Hello guys, this is NCSO7 here doing another first impressions video on Paper Mario the Origami King. This game has been out for 3 days when you guys see this. 2 days for me. But anyways, I'm going to talk about what I think of the game, and this isn't a full extensive review. That'll happen at a later date, whenever I beat the game. So, overall, I'll just say this. I like it. I honestly really like Paper Mario the Origami King, but let's get a little more in depth on this. So, one thing I must say about this game is the visuals. My god, does this game look good. Like, I honestly thought that Color Splash looked pretty good. Actually, leading up to Origami King, I actually was playing through a bit of Color Splash because I honestly haven't played it much, even though I've owned it since like Christmas of 2016. I didn't really play much until earlier this month in preparation of Origami King, and wow, Color Splash has some great visuals, and same can be said for Origami King, which is so good. Honestly, the Paper Mario series has always looked pretty good, honestly, but Origami King really makes this game look good. Whether it's in TV mode or handheld mode, it looks great in both areas, so that's the one thing I will say. Like, they definitely put a lot of time into the visuals, because it looks like everything is made out of paper and cardboard and stuff like that, and that's really cool. So, yeah, that's one thing I will give this game a big A+ in visual direction. And in terms of the story, which is something that a lot of people have talked about, somewhat, at least I think, honestly, the story, isn't too bad. I will be honest, it isn't super in-depth, and from what I've played, I've gotten to the yellow streamer and done some stuff there, but I've only completed the red and blue streamers, so yeah. But the story hasn't really changed too much. It isn't too in-depth. It's not a very deep plot, but it's good regardless. It's fine regardless. However, there actually is one part in the game that I actually wouldn't have mentioned if I made this recording earlier, because I was actually playing some earlier. And there's actually a part in the story that actually did get me to feel a little sad. Yeah, there actually was a plot point that actually made me sad. So I'm not going to spoil it, but I will say it definitely was unexpected for me, so I'll just say that. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the story gets more interesting later, but yeah. And then, next, I may as well talk about the gameplay. The gameplay, of course, is not the same as the other Paper Mario games. And honestly, the battle system is more of a puzzle game than anything. You don't just select enemies and then you kill them. You have to arrange them in proper ways to either line them up or get them in a group. It takes a lot more problem solving than normal. And now, I can tell that some people may not necessarily like this. It makes the game too difficult, because if you aren't really paying attention to where your enemies are, you could seriously get ambushed completely and take a lot of damage. There have been times where I haven't done it correctly, and I've gotten very close to dying. Thankfully, I had a mushroom on me, so I could just use that, so. But it's still, you gotta really know how to solve these puzzles. And that's one thing I honestly will say is probably one of my favorite things about the game. I like that it's more puzzle-based, because I don't know, I feel like the basic gameplay of like other RPGs, like the older Paper Mario games, is good, but I think in terms of like puzzles, I think that Origami King easily is great. Now, of course, there is one thing I do need to mention though. No experience. It was confirmed a while back, but there is no experience after battles. You just get a lot of coins. And I will say this, the game throws coins at you an awful lot, so yeah. Now, usually the game will throw like if you do well in a battle, it'll usually shove you like 200 or 300 coins approximately. You're gonna have thousands of coins. The thing is, though, many of the items are not that cheap, although some of them are. I mean, hell, mushrooms are only 100 coins, and those things can give you 30 or 50 health points. I think it's 50. I don't fully remember. Which, unfortunately, you can't stock on items at all, which is kind of dumb, but it's really whatever. And yeah. And so there is a use to the coins, although it isn't that much of a use, considering you can just skip battles sometimes. It is a lot harder to escape battles in this game than other games, but you don't necessarily have to do any battling. But I will be honest, that's because the game isn't necessarily much of an RPG. Yeah, something about this game is that this game is not really, but according to the game's creator, it's not necessarily an RPG, but it's more of an action-adventure game. And that it's not necessarily an RPG. And if you're still bummed about the fact that there's no experience, think about it this way. This Paper Mario Origami King is an action-adventure game. Well, Super Mario Odyssey, that's an exploration-based action-adventure kind of game. It's kind of similar. You kill enemies, they give you coins. The coins don't really do anything that useful. They only really get you like power moons and like outfits that don't really actually mean anything, let's be honest here. And the game is really easy. There's no experience in that game, but for some reason people say that Mario Odyssey is great, and then people just attack Origami King for just not having an experience system. And while yes, I do think that Nintendo should have at the very least just put a basic leveling system in there, it's not the biggest deal ever. It's not really that big of a deal. Because again, voiding battles isn't easy in the first place. Also, just really, like, experience isn't the only thing that RPGs do. But again, this is not an RPG, so yeah. I know it's a little disappointing, but I do think I need to bring that up. So that's that. Wanted to get that out there because a lot of people on Twitter have been like this and have been very negative. And like I mentioned this before in my message to Paper Mario community video, so I'm just going to briefly mention this. Give the game a chance, because I will be fully honest, I went into this game with an open mindset, and I will be fully honest, I'm really liking it. I mean, I've only completed the red and blue streamers. I've gotten partway through the yellow one. But this game has been a lot of fun, honestly. This game, I went into it with an open mindset, and I think that was the best way to go into this game. Seriously, give the game a chance. Because, yes, it is different from Paper Mario 64 and Thousand Year Door. But the thing is, different isn't always bad. Hell, I'm different. So, yeah, if you can get past the fact and get over the fact that the game isn't like 64 and Thousand Year Door and look at it for what it is on its own merits, then you'll find that it's a gorgeous, fun game. So, please, if you are a Paper Mario fan, please give this game a chance. Don't just be all, it's not like 64 and Thousand Year Door, so it's not that great. But actually give the game a chance and actually play the game entirely to actually get an opinion, because I've been playing the game lately, like going back to the whole story thing. I honestly thought the story for the most part was just sort of there. It was just sort of, I mean, it's okay, but it's not that impressive. But then I got further in the game and actually had a moment in the game that threw me for a loop. Actually play through the whole game. Give the game a chance before you start throwing all your hate. If you don't like Origami King even after playing through the whole game, that is completely fine. But don't just be all negative if you haven't even played the game, because you're clearly looking at this from an unfair perspective. So please, give this game a chance, because I have been enjoying this game so far. And I didn't really expect this video to be a message to the Paper Mario community too, but that's ultimately what the latter part of the video was. But seriously, this game is really good. I would definitely recommend it. Of course, I'm going to talk a lot more extensively about this stuff in my review. I don't know when that's going to happen, probably whenever I beat the game. The game's been pretty meaty lately, so probably will take a while for it to come out, so yeah. But anyways, that's what I think. I think the game is really fun. Possibly might be my favorite Paper Mario. I haven't really played much of the other games, so yeah. So anyways, that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you guys want to see more Paper Mario content. And give the game a chance if you haven't already. Actually play the game because and go into it with an open mindset. Don't go into it thinking, oh, it's not going to be as good as 64,000 Joe. Actually go into the game with an open mindset, and I think it might surprise you. But I've said that enough. Thank you guys for watching, and take care.
It's showtime! Did you enjoy the show? Well, time for the highlight.